Alright guys, so we all love a good Pagani design watch. They offer great value for money, but every now and then we wish they'd spend a little bit more in a few places just to improve things slightly. So they've tried this once before with varying degrees of success, and they're trying it again now. So I've been trying this one out for a while. This is the PD1723, aka the Vintage Air King homage. So I was sent this watch along with two others. Didn't get them for free, I think I had to pay postage plus a little bit on top. But you know the score. So I'm going to change the way I do my reviews, going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. So the question is it living up to the hype? Or are you going to want to pick one up? Let's jump right in and find out. So here's the packaging it came in, the usual Pagani design packaging, but I think you can actually get a more premium kind of looking box option, but obviously I didn't get that one, so I can't really talk about it. One thing I did get though was this NATO strap. It's got nice brushed hardware, and it is actually elasticated. But I'm not the biggest fan of NATO straps, so I haven't really been using it. I've just kept it on the original bracelet. And here it is on that bracelet. So before we talk about that, let's talk about the dial, because you've got a few different options here. You've got this black one that I've got. You also have a white one, and like a goldy kind of cream coloured one. Personally, I think the black is the best option. It's the most legible. Because I think on the other two, the hands and the indices kind of blend into the dial a bit too much for my liking. But let me know what you think. So let's get a zoom in and talk about that dial a bit more. So you can see we've got the gold hands and indices there, and that gold Pagani logo. And it is an applied logo as well, not just printed, which is a nice touch. And I do like that they've removed the Pagani design text now as well, just sticking with the logo. Just a nice clean look, I think. You can see it's got a nice detailing on that 12 o'clock indice as well. As we have with the others, to be honest. They're nicely faceted, so they catch the light really nicely. As does that domed crystal, which adds a nice bit of distortion. And then we've got that pop of colour with that green second hand. The only text you've got on the dial is that PT5000 down at the 6, and then 200 metre, 660 feet. So this is the first watch from Pagani Design to have the PT5000. So I kind of get why they put it on the dial, but personally I would have preferred it if they hadn't. And then let's talk about the dimensions on this. So we've got a diameter of 37mm, thickness of 12.4, that's including that domed crystal, lug width of 20, and then the all important lug to lug is coming in at 43.9. So a really nice compact lug to lug there, and because we've got female end links, that's the actual lug to lug as well. So it does wear really nicely on a variety of wrist sizes, I think. I'll show you that in a bit. Just quickly looking at the side profile, let's get a zoom in again. So you can see, got a fully polished case there. Again, a little bit of a fingerprint magnet, as you'd expect, but nicely finished. Got that signed Pagani logo on the crown as well. When it comes to the top of the lugs, they're brushed to match the bracelet, which is brushed on top. And again, that polished detailing carries on along the bracelet. So a nice cohesive design there, with the polishing and the brushing matching up. When it comes to that bracelet, it's screw links as well. And we've actually got a slightly different clasp for Pagani, not their usual one. So we've got the fold over with the Pagani logo, double pushers, milled clasp. Quickly take a look at the case back. We've got the Pagani design in the centre, the model number PD1723, and then we've got stainless steel, 200 metre, 660 feet, and again that PT5000 movement. So if you're having it on the back, you definitely don't need it on the dial. And it's a screw down case back as well. So seeing as I didn't actually mention it on the case back, let's check out whether we've got sapphire crystal using the trusty Diamond Selector 2. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal. So that's always good to see, especially with it being a nice domed one as well. So you don't have to worry about that getting scratched. With it protruding out, you're likely to knock it on stuff. So now let's check out what the loom's like on this, because with Pagani designs that's normally their Achilles heel. So you can see we've got a little bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And there we go. So you can see it's looking pretty good initially. So we've got C3 on this, not Superluminova though, just normal C3. So it isn't quite as bright as you'd expect from C3 Superluminova. And you can probably also tell as well, already, that the loom on those hands is beginning to fade. So unfortunately with this particular one, again, the loom is a bit of an Achilles heel for Pagani design. It doesn't last long enough really, and unfortunately again, the loom on the hands fades before those indices, which isn't really what you want to see. Obviously it makes it pretty much pointless, which is pretty disappointing. They really need to work on the loom. It's really beginning to hold them back now, I think, especially if they're moving up into this premium, well, more premium AliExpress tier. They've got to work on that loom. They've got to improve it. It's just not good enough. Everything else so far is pretty good, but that's just holding it back. So, seeing as this is their first watch with the PT5000 in it, and they're making such a big point on letting you know, let's show you what it's like. So we've got a screw down crown. If we pop it out once, we've actually got a ghost date position, because the PT5000 has a date function, so we have to pop it out again. You can see the second hand stopped, so we got hacking, and then obviously we can just change the time. Pop it back in, second hand re-engages. Then we've got hand winding. It's not the smoothest PT5000 movements I've had. It's a touch gritty, but it works. And then obviously we just screw the crown back down. This is where I've had a bit of an issue with this one. I don't know if it's just me, but I think that crown might be ever so slightly misaligned maybe. Or it's just not gripping very well, because it's a little stiff when trying to screw it back down. As you can see, I'm having to put quite a bit of effort into that, and it's kind of catching. It's not smooth to screw down at all. I have to grab it with a nail to be able to do it fully. I'm hoping over time it's going to loosen up a bit more, because it's better than when I first got it, but it's still not great. You can see I had to put quite a bit of effort into that, which could be a bit of an issue. Don't know whether that's going to be the same with all of the PT5000 movements they put in these, or if it's just my crown or something, but there's something not quite right. Which is a little disappointing, as I say. But hopefully they won't all be like that. So all it's left to do now is show you what it's like on wrist, and then we'll wrap this up. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist, and as I say, it's really good looking piece. I absolutely love this dial. Love the way the light catches all those different angles and facets on the indices and the hands, and that distortion from that crystal, the way the light plays with the polished bezel. It's just a really good looking piece. Simple bracelet, nicely brushed. Slightly different clasps to the usual Paganis, but it works well. 3 levels of micro adjust, so sizing's not an issue. But it is all about that dial. I absolutely love the fact that they've removed the Pagani design text now as well. Be interesting to see if they do that moving forward on all their other watches, because I do like the applied logo and no text. Speaking of text, that PT5000 text, please get rid of that, you don't need it there. You've got it on the back, you don't need it on the dial as well. When it comes to issues, as I said, that crown on mine, it's something not quite right, it's either not gripping or not lined up properly. I might try and see if I can sort that out, but hopefully that won't be like that for all the other models and all the other versions. You'd have to check out other people's reviews, see if they've had the same issue. But I can only let you know what I'm experiencing with mine. The only other issue is the loom. Again, with Pagani design, they really need to improve that loom. It's holding them back now, especially if they want to move into this more premium category. They've got to up that loom. It's just not good enough. You can get watches cheaper than this that have got a far better loom. If they can work on that, then I think they're onto a winner though, because it's a really good looking piece. It's really well made. As I say, mine's got a slight issue with the crown, but bar that, it's just that loom. But let me know, what do you think? And if you're into vintage watches, or vintage style watches should I say, and this one doesn't do it for you, perhaps you'll want to check out some of these reviews for other vintage kind of style ones I've got. I'll either leave a link up here or down in the description if you want to check it out. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.